Today, on June 18th, Israel carried out strikes using more than 50 aircraft on Iranian centrifuge and missile production facilities, thereby hitting 2 additional key military strategic sites of the Ayatollah regime in Iran. We now have confirmation of a powerful strike on the Hajar missile complex southeast of Tehran, and the airport in Mashhad has also been hit. The International Atomic Energy Agency has also confirmed Israel's strikes on centrifuge production facilities in Iran. We'll now discuss these latest news with you. I am Alexei Pechi. Today is June 18th. Next, we'll go through everything step by step. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and write any comment you want. Also, subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechi News. The link to it is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as soon as it comes in. So, according to the Israeli military, on Wednesday morning Israel carried out a series of strikes involving more than 50 aircraft on Iranian centrifuge and missile production facilities. As stated by the Israel Defense Forces, more than 50 Air Force fighter jets, under the precise guidance of the Intelligence Directorate, have carried out a series of strikes on military targets in the Tehran area in the past few hours. According to the military, among these targets were facilities used for the production of both surface-to-surface and surface-to-air missiles. Israel also stated that it attacked a centrifuge manufacturing plant in Tehran to disrupt Iran's nuclear weapons development program. The Iranian regime is enriching uranium intended for nuclear weapons development purposes, the statement said. Meanwhile, the International Atomic Energy Agency said on Wednesday that Israel did indeed strike 2 centrifuge manufacturing facilities in Iran, the TSA workshop in Karaj and the Tehran Research Center. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, both facilities were previously under International Atomic Energy Agency monitoring and inspection as part of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. This indicates that nuclear production facilities are indeed located there. In the before and after images published by the satellite company Maxar of the Tabriz missile complex in northwestern Iran, you can see entire storage facilities that were ultimately leveled to the ground and large craters on the roads inside the facility. According to the images, several transport tunnels were also hit and seriously damaged on site. Representatives of the American military and intelligence services have long stated that the United States and Israel often disagree on how to interpret information about Iran's nuclear program. This is Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence in the United States. She confused many people because back in March she testified that in her assessment Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei had not authorized the resumption of the nuclear weapons program, which he himself had suspended in 2003. In other words, she states that Iran really isn't developing nuclear weapons and doesn't intend to create them. Nevertheless, last night Israel also carried out massive strikes on the Iranian capital, Tehran. And you can see the locations of the strikes on the map, but apparently the attack was really massive. And it's important to note here that the Israeli military had previously ordered residents of Tehran's 18th district to leave the area. They warned that they would strike military infrastructure. And as stated in the message, your presence in this area will put your life in danger. What do you need to know about last night in the Middle East? Next, a brief overview of the events. As for Iran, in Iran, air defense was intercepting missiles over Tehran after the Israeli Air Force announced that it was carrying out a series of strikes on the Iranian capital, and the military issued an evacuation warning for 1 district. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said yesterday that Israel plans to strike key targets in Tehran. And the Israeli Air Force said they are targeting ballistic missile launch sites in Isfahan, in Israel. What was happening? The Israeli military said they identified a wave of incoming missiles from Iran and explosions were heard over Tel Aviv. At least 2,725 people in Israel have been evacuated from their homes since the start of the new wave of conflict. In addition, Iran launched Fatah missiles toward Israel. This was reported by the MEHR agency. This is a semi-official Iranian agency. And here I should remind you that last year, Iranian media reported that Tehran used the new Fatah 1 missile for attacks on Israel. Tehran describes it as a hypersonic missile, but analysts note that almost all ballistic missiles reach hypersonic speed during flight. Fatah 1 apparently has a maneuverable re-entry vehicle warhead, which allows it to make adjustments to avoid missile defense during the short terminal phase as it dives toward the target. In addition, it has become known that Jordan is intercepting strikes. Videos have emerged showing Iranian missiles being intercepted in Jordanian airspace, which was visible from the country's capital, Amman, on Wednesday morning. That is, Jordan is openly no longer hiding it, shooting down Iranian missiles flying toward Israel. In addition, Iran's Cybersecurity Command has stated that Israel has launched a large-scale cyber war against Iran's digital infrastructure. I think you saw footage yesterday that ATMs across Iran aren't working. As for the United States of America, yesterday Israel's ambassador to the United States, Escalation, stated that the missile defense systems provided by the United States, including terminal high-altitude area defense, helped save hundreds, possibly thousands of lives in Israel. Since the escalation of the conflict up to now, according to him, the United States has taken an exclusively defensive position in the region. Nevertheless, there are all the signs that the United States is preparing for a direct attack on Iran. I talked about this in more detail in the previous episode, so go to my channel and watch the previous episode to be fully up to date. In addition, Donald Trump, the American president, met with his national security team in the Situation Room. Yesterday, more than 30 American tanker planes were deployed to the Middle East to provide Trump with military options. In addition, the United States is now deploying an aircraft carrier group and fighter jets to the region. Not everyone in the United States supports a war with Iran. In Congress, there are efforts to stop Trump from attacking Iran. According to members of Congress, the war between Iran and Israel is not America's war, so they are introducing a resolution that prohibits Trump from making a unilateral decision to attack Iran. In addition, China has finally started to respond, and Xi Jinping has intervened in the situation. In his first public comment on the conflict since it began, Chinese leader Xi Jinping said that his country is deeply concerned about the escalating tensions in the Middle East. Xi said that China, a key diplomatic and economic supporter of Iran, opposes any actions that violate the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of other countries. I won't include the reaction of unwashed Russia in this episode because it's nonsense. Russia, which is simply bombing Ukrainian cities, suddenly appeals to international law and says that the United States has no right to interfere in this war. Israel is allegedly conducting the war against Iran improperly and should stop. Once again, this is coming from a country that is mercilessly killing civilians in Ukraine. And finally, I'll add the issue of oil and gas prices. Oil prices rose yesterday to their highest level in the past 5 months. The rise in oil futures prices, which began last week, is also starting to push up fuel prices at gas stations. The energy market remains on high alert for possible supply disruptions related to the Israel-Iran war. I'll leave it at that for now. These are the main facts you need to know at this moment. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like.